faulty air quality sensor. We did some testing with various meters, and we found that the upper meters here were giving us some false readings in the CO2 range. So I took one of them apart, and it's a nice little meter. It uses a USB cord to charge it. A really handy little meter, but it has a CO2 display on it, and I could not figure out why the CO2 reading was often different than other meters. So I started to take it apart, and I made it go a little faster because simply taking screws out is not something that is fun to watch. All right, so we've opened it up. We have a nice processor board with an unknown microprocessor. We have two daughter boards that have sensors on them and an 18650 power cell. So the battery is an 18650. I'm very familiar with those. That looks like the sensor board, and then there's another sensor board right there. This is a nice little package. So that is the gas sensor back in there, and the upper one is the temperature sensor. So I'm looking it over, trying to figure out, well, how does this all work? That's the power button. Turn it on and off, select degrees C, degrees F, and then I go out of sight. That's the power connection, and then this USB and power connection are all on that side of the board there. That's where the battery connects in. Sensor and temperature sensor. So here on the microscope, we see that it's a TPM 300A version 2.2. And that's a nice little sensor, but I don't think it's good for CO2. So we're looking at the board. Backside has some surface mount technology on it. It's a nice little board, but I'm just not sure this is good for CO2. So this is the temperature sensor, and it's a pretty standard little temperature sensor. I see these in other devices. But the interesting thing is, wow, it was made at the end of last year. Look at that. It's made almost at the last day of the year, 12/30/2020. Okay, let's look at this. This is all surface mount technology. That's the button, turn it off. That's the USB and power port right there. That's an unused connection. That's an unused pad. Look at that. It was made January 19th, 2021. Unknown processor. Look at, they covered the processor. That's an MCU. These are the debugging ports. There's the sensor. That's the temperature sensor, and that is the gas sensor right there. So this is, get a little bit better view outside the microscope. I did some research on this TPM sensor, TPM 300, and it is only rated for volatile organic compounds. There's no reference to measuring CO2. So what they're doing is deriving CO2, and they're getting it wrong many of the time. So in summary, the TPM 300 is not suitable for CO2 measurements. It is intended for volatile organic compounds. Thanks for watching. Smokeless Chimney, warm homes and clean air for everyone. www.smokelesschimney.com